I got a booking. Welcome back, Airbnb family. Today I'm going to talk to you about the beginning. Beginning of what? The beginning of this. The beginning of Airbnb Automated. So for those of you new to the channel, maybe looking for advice on how to set up your first property, I'm going to talk to you about how I set up my first one for $3,000. Now, for those of you who've been on this channel know that over the course of the last 4 years, I've built that $3,000 investment into a $100,000 per month plus business. That's big. So let me talk to you about the beginning. Strap yourselves in. Let's get into it. All right, now before I get into it, I want to update you on something. So for those of you who watch this channel, you know that I traveled from my birthday to Serbia and Croatia. Well, I'm doing something again. My real estate agent and I were traveling every month for the rest of the year to shoot some travel content. So we're going to Italy, we're going to, in Italy we're going to Milan, Naples, Isla Capri, Pompeii, Sicily. We're doing a bunch of stuff. So that's trip one, which is in a few weeks, 2 weeks actually. Then we're going to Iceland in September, we're going to do Thailand, Philippines, and I'm trying to sneak in a trip to Japan, and we're going to shoot a bunch of content and stay in a bunch of Airbnbs and give you guys an awesome experience through YouTube. Now, my real estate agent bought me a gift, of course, because we want to shoot good video. He got me something called a gimbal. Roll the footage. This is a Ronin S gimbal. It's a new one. This is a lovely toy. I'm having a great time with it. And so to practice using it, because skills involved, I decided to buy some French macaroons today instead of buying lunch. Don't ever do that. You should eat lunch. But I decided to plate them and take some shots of some French macaroons, as you can see right here.
T'as de beaux yeux, tu sais.
All right. Okay, enough playing around. Back to the video. All right, welcome back, Airbnb family. So yes, I'm going to talk to you about the beginning. The apartment number one was in Houston, and the way that I picked this property, of course, because that's important. So I picked this property because it had front-end concessions. What that basically means is they'll give you some sort of rebate or like discounted rent or even free rent when you sign your lease as like an incentive to act. So this building gave me 8 weeks of rent free up front, right? So I didn't have to pay anything for the first 2 months of rent, almost nothing, right? So the reason why this matters is because your total budget to come into a property, I normally say you can do for $5,000 or $6,000 for a studio, but if you get front-end concessions where you don't have to pay any rent, that's going to bring down your rate. It could bring you down into $4,500-ish, right? Or even less, right? So now, here's the kicker though. You can do an even better job. I got my first apartment with just $3,000 invested. Now, here's a couple of the things that I did. Well, first, I looked on Craigslist for furniture that I thought would be good for the apartment, but would be used, so I didn't have to buy new furniture, right? So that's one. Now, the kicker here is you don't always find what you want. So if you're looking to spend less money, it's going to cost you more time looking. You just have to be willing to make that trade-off. So that's one thing to consider. Two, I lived out of my Airbnb properties. Now, this is a great way for you guys to do this if you are lacking just a little bit of money. Let me kind of give you the landscape. Let's say you live in an apartment right now. You don't have any roommates. You just live in your own apartment. That apartment should be ready. You live in it. You like it. Somebody else should like it too. So let's say you sign a lease. You know, the same front-end concessions, no rent. But you only have a couple $1,000s to put into your new property. Well, you can buy a bed and a couch and maybe a TV or just the kind of some basics to make the place kind of semi-livable, pots and pans, dishes. You might only get $2,000 worth of stuff in there, and it's not ready to host yet, but you can live there and post the one you have currently up for maybe just a couple of weeks. See, the fun thing about Airbnb is the moment you get a booking and somebody arrives, they initiate the payout 24 hours later, which means you normally get paid 48 hours from the date that somebody arrives, unless the payout would normally be on Sunday. So you're looking at 48 to 72 hours before you get paid, and that's fast. So let's say you post your apartment on a Monday. Somebody books for 5 days on a Tuesday, and it's going to pay you like $700 to stay at your place for 5 days. Well, 2 days later, you're going to get paid. And you can put that $700 into the place that you're staying at now. Do that again over the course of a couple weeks. You can go from that $2,000 to the $3,500 that you need. And now that new property that you've been living in, that you've been staging and taking your time on to make sure it looks nice, maybe you do your own artwork. I have my own artwork over here, by the way. You could do that. And it will just, of course, lower your cost to make the place pretty. So consider that. And that's a way to kind of fill that gap to get to the, of course, having your own first dedicated Airbnb listing. Now, of course, the rest of this channel talks about how to find properties, pick up properties, manage them, manage your prices, even how to fold towels. So if you're new to this channel, enjoy the rest of the videos here. And of course, subscribe, because we're going to talk a lot about more content. And if you want me to talk about anything, just feel free to leave it in the comments. It's that simple. So thank you for watching Airbnb Automated, and I will see you on the other side.